Set your rules.
What the heck happened? What the heck happened? Hello?
Surprise!
Hi.
Oh, look!
How are
look.
y'all doing?
Something happened to my intro. It just stopped.
I was like, "Oh, you're live."
No, supposed to be a minute intro. Hello, everyone. We have a lot. I don't know where RJ is. I messaged him. We're talking about the Switch 2. There's a lot to talk about. I will say this, Cyrus, was I right or was I right?
You were right. You were more than right. You were more
underestimated how greedy they are. And
you were more right than you knew.
Not greedy. Not greedy. There's a situation going on in the world. It's all not all Nintendo's fault. I will say this right off. There's really good stuff about this Direct that I'm very happy for. We can maybe say our initial impressions of the Direct itself. I think Rhea is going to be really happy. And I will take the L. Rhea was right about the upgrade to some of the stuff that Nintendo's doing with the online functionality is amazing. Like, I'm like, wow, they figured things out. Like, for example, the way we sometimes game on the Switch 1, Rhea, when you're helping stream, you don't even need StreamYard. You could just do OBS and then just be in the game with a camera and have your crew there. And that is next level. Like, the stuff that their online community building functionality of the Switch 2 is amazing. And the games, the new games, look amazing. That's my initial thoughts there. I want to stay on the positive first. And I am planning to get it. I am going to get I don't care about getting the physical Super Mario or Mario Kart World now. I'm just going to get the digital bundle. It's $50 more to get the digital bundle.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
Yeah. So that's the one I'm planning to get if I can. So I liked Super Mario Kart World. Donkey Kong Bonanza was great. Kirby's Air Ride I was confused by. Like, I'm not against them bringing back that franchise, but there's a lot of other franchises. I don't think anyone was like really. I think they appreciated. I never should say no one was wanting that game. I'm sure there was someone, but it's just weird because you're also launching with Mario Kart. Like, why Kirby's Air Ride now? Maybe like 2 years later when people are starting to get tired of Mario Kart. So that was the weird one for me. I'm still happy it's there. But overall, I really enjoyed the new games, and I am hooked now on Mario Kart again. I didn't know if they would get me, but they did. RJ's here too. Hey, RJ.
Hey, hi guys. I'm not feeling the greatest, but I decided to come on for at least a little bit. My allergies.
Neither is my wallet
crazy
today.
I hope you feel better soon.
Yes.
Thank you. I just bought
that's
medication, so
that's the nice thing to do. See how nice Rhea is? I'm talking about like my wallet's really feeling sick too. And then Rhea's like, well, I hope you feel better. I'm like, yeah, I should think about you, RJ. Yes,
are we giving our impressions of the Direct first?
Try to stay the positive first. And I know me and RJ were going battling in the DMs on Twitter or X.
Not really. I just said that your thumbnail is incorrect.
It's not incorrect.
It is.
It's not. We'll get to that later. It is not. It's not incorrect. Okay, so that was my. Who wants to go next? That's my initial thoughts. I was very happy with I would have liked one more surprise game, and even though they're bringing back Donkey Kong, I would really want a Donkey Kong Country trilogy. Like, I think they should do a third one too. Like, I don't know how, and I would have preferred more in the style of Donkey Kong 64. But this is very cool.
Okay, Veruca Salt, you want more?
Yes. Okay. So if you are getting here, please thumbs up the video. Thank you. Hey, Talati is here. Talati, I've just been joking with you, Talati. I miss you. I'll have to, collab with you soon. Don't inflate Max's ego. Live action Zelda with Rhea as Zelda. Okay, that's an idea. Even in the video game world, RJ is pretentious. Wow. Okay. Who wants to go next? Your initial thoughts of just real quick thoughts on the presentation itself. Were you happy? Ray, do you want to go next, or Cyrus? Who wants to go next?
Ladies
Yeah.
first, please.
Sure. Yeah, I can go next. I was very happy with the announcements. There were a lot of enhancements that I didn't even think we would get in like this generation, maybe the next generation, like 4K 60 frames per second docked, and there's what is it? Is it 4K 30 frames per second handheld? Or
So they said for handheld, it can go up to 1080p 60. For docked, I believe, or actually no, the handheld can do one, like the overall Switch can do up to 120 FPS, but the screen, like the actual like portable screen, can only go up to 1080p. Docked mode can go up to 4K.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the 60 frames per second part, I know a lot of folks were critical of with the first gen Switch, so it's cool that we have that,
so
at least with
excited
some
for
games.
Pokemon's gonna run so much better now. I'm so excited.
Yeah, same. So like when it comes to like the actual hardware, I really do appreciate the live chat option, like Max said. It makes me want to play more games live on stream because it's not as cumbersome as having to connect.
You don't have to do
connecting through StreamYard, it was always buffering, and then I could do OBS, but I wouldn't have like the same ability to see all of y'all on screen. So this is like the perfect
kind of combined StreamYard type program within Nintendo Switch
with Discord.
Well, basically Discord.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Discord too. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the biggest thing for me because I always love playing video games with friends, but it's so laborious to have to like, and it's not as immersive, you know? Like I can chat with you on Discord and play the game, but yeah, having this option to be able to play it more seamlessly with y'all and have like a live chat engagement with other folks, and then I can see your little icons on screen and things like that. I don't know, just like little things like that that enhance the quality of life and my enjoyment overall. So the games, obviously, like those are going to be fun. I'm going to get all the first party ones. It's just that when it comes to my immersive experience and how much quality time I get out of my console, those little enhancements definitely do help. So I'm really juiced on it.
Okay, cool. Cyrus, do you want to give your initial impression? Oh, and also say if you're planning to get it. I think we might have one on the panel. My guess is Cyrus. I'm not getting this right away. I don't know. That's my.
Well, I have a lot to think about. I'll put it like that. Impressive graphics, I think. It seems like it's going to be very snappy. Seems like it's going to run way better. The chat button, the way that works with the integration we've been talking about already, that seems like that's finally some decent online stuff for Nintendo. I'm like, it's funny because I was in Jeff, Go Game Go's thing this morning right before this thing happened, and he asked me, what do you think that C button is? And I go, I don't know, maybe like a chat button or something. And then it ended up being that. So I don't really take credit for predicting that. It happened right before it happened, but it was like interesting that that's what it was, because it's pretty obvious, right? C, probably chat button. But
I thought it was like a connect button, or like a community button, like a Miiverse or something.
Yeah,
but it pretty much is that. It's just voice chat.
Right. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool, and they're going to integrate that sort of like the Wii U tried to do in a lot of ways into like the games where you have like your little picture and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out.
The camera stuff too is really interesting. Like you can like buy the camera and like you can actually like put your face.
Oh, we lost.
What? You kicked us out, man. What the hell?
I don't know. StreamYard's being weird.
That's what happened during the Nintendo Switch 2 stream as
well. Yeah, there you go. That's what it was.
It was so laggy. Some people were watching it. No, but the camera feature is really cool too. Like with the green screen effect in front of the gameplay, like like your face there and the gameplay behind you, and like it's all natural too. It's all built into the system. You don't got to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
And GameCube, I do feel like Nintendo was purposely withholding that, but this is probably going to be the best GameCube experience you've ever had, is because you could play these. Yes, there was online.
Yeah,
well, no, because I don't think they didn't say it's 4K GameCube.
No. They did say it's like slightly enhanced.
Okay,
It's
but
like
I'm talking about online. How many people actually played the GameCube online? Not many.
Well, Max, just imagine Double Dash online.
Yes.
Melee online.
Yes.
Drop. Yeah. It's
Right.
Crazy.
Oh,
So
and we can play F-Zero online right away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Day one.
Yeah.
You do F-Zero.
So that
Well-
is a game changer for those games. If now, did we see the GameCube working with the chat functions too? Did we see the Nintendo Online working with that, or
Yes,
just
they did
the
show
games?
yeah,
Okay.
they showed like in the game chat during the little trailer, they showed some of the people were playing Nintendo Online.
Okay.
So some of the older games. So yeah, you can do that with game chat as well.
And Soul
Um,
Calibur 2.
Yes!
Oh,
Yes.
we have Link's special guest
You know-
appearance.
It's really okay. So this is great because I've been waiting for Soul Calibur 2 with Link to get back to a Nintendo console since the Wii U, because it's funny that this is happening now, because when they had the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions online, they were also going to do a Wii U one that was canceled because the Wii U was not a success. And now Soul Calibur 2 online has been delisted from Xbox. It's backwards compatible. If you bought it back in the day, you still have it, but they've taken it off the system. So this is the only way to officially play Soul Calibur 2 online legally right now.
Yeah. Can I get my quick impressions real quick?
Besides, if you still have it on the Xbox and you still could connect online. I haven't tried that. I still play it, but I haven't tried connecting because none of my friends have that version of the game on Xbox. Okay, go ahead, RJ. Yes.
Oh yeah. So overall, like to me, this was like a perfect direct in execution. Everything that they need to do, they delivered on. They showed a ton of games that were definitely some big surprises. Obviously Mario Kart's the flagship title for the system. It's gonna be the one that like gets people to buy it at launch. Big surprises though. I mean, the return of Kirby Air Ride. Sakurai is directing it. He's coming back to Kirby after like 20 years away from Kirby. He's not doing Smash Brothers. He's going back to Kirby, which that's pretty interesting. 3D Donkey Kong, seemingly by the team that made Odyssey. So they decided not to do a 3D Mario. They're doing a 3D Donkey Kong.
I like that.
I like that too. It's risky though. It's a little risky, but I'm on board with it. Because they could have easily went with like an Odyssey 2 or another 3D Mario, but it's like, nope, we're doing Donkey Kong. So I'm like, okay, let's go for it.
I mean, I don't want to sound like a hater, but like if it was another country style game, I'd just be like I'm just
True.
like, okay.
But not Rare. Retro Studios, they're working on Metroid Prime 4. They are the ones who did the Tropical Freeze and the other country games, like Country Returns. So, but people have been asking for another 3D Donkey Kong game. There's only ever been one. It was Donkey Kong 64. We have never had a 3D Donkey Kong game since that one came out. So it's a big deal for a lot of people that were getting this. Other big surprise, the third-party support is insane.
Well, that's
Insanely
because
good.
the
Insanely
game's
good
not
out of
on the
the gate.
card.
Well, not even that. Like, look, the games they announced today.
That's a key.
Cyberpunk 2077, which, by the way, that game is going to be fully on the card. They said it will be on the card, no digital download.
What? For
Yeah,
that game?
Cyberpunk is fully on the card, no digital
That's
download.
the first time. then.
Yep. They said it's going to be on a 64 gigabyte cartridge, all on the card.
All right. Well, I don't think it's
but
going to happen to a lot
Other
of games.
games, though, like, we're getting Street Fighter 6, we're getting Final Fantasy 7 Remake. I mean, these are some huge games. From Software, Elden Ring. I mean, not even just Elden Ring. From Software is making an exclusive game just for the Switch. That's a huge gift.
No, I
for
wasn't
Nintendo.
expecting that.
That's
That was
gift
huge.
for Nintendo.
I do have a suspicion that it's a timed exclusive, but still having it be an exclusive for a period of time on something like the Switch, yeah, that is a big deal.
And like I said, the fun. I mean, they didn't do too much new. I mean, it's really just make the Switch better, introduce game chat functionality, which I was impressed by because Nintendo's always been so iffy with doing the online gaming stuff. But this, like, they're really embracing, like, modernizing the experience, which is good. I mean, it's basically just...
It's going to be hard to go back to Xbox Live and PlayStation unless they do something comparable now.
Well, I mean, no, I mean, they have their own unique experiences, right? Nintendo's doing it in their own Nintendo way. It's just Discord, but the Nintendo version of Discord. You know, the upgraded games. I was shocked at how far they're going with that. Some of them are just visual upgrades, but some of them they're adding like full blown DLC. Like Kirby's getting like a new story, like new levels. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Donovan, I don't think this is a fair statement. I don't put this on Nintendo. It's the world trade environment right now that some of these costs are this.
Yeah, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
Did you guys see what they're doing with the Zelda Nintendo Switch 2 editions?
Yes, those. Yeah. This I also
predicted. No. I mean like the new stuff they're adding, like new content.
But I also had a prediction here with Cyrus and me. Cyrus and John did a video. I said if they do it where it's not going to cost you more money, maybe they'll do it with your online expansion.
Which they are. They are for Zelda.
So for certain games,
games will be free. The upgrade will be free.
Yeah.
Certain ones they won't be. But with Zelda, they were showing like they're going to have the new Nintendo Switch app, and you can connect the app to Zelda, and you can use the phone app, not just for like the guiding thing they showed in the Direct. There's like new collectibles. Like the game will give you like a new collectible, and they're voice memories. So when you click on it and you get to the location in the game, your phone will play an audio message that gives like more story. Which I'm like, what? Like that's crazy cool. I don't know why they didn't show that in the Direct, but that's like a really neat feature.
I was like, wait, when was this feature shown? Was it during Treehouse?
No. I think it was on like Nintendo. It was on the Nintendo website going into detail about the new app. But I was like, because they're gonna have a Treehouse on Friday, deep diving all the games that they announced today. So,
what's my biggest complaint about this is besides the cost of everything, which I don't fully place on Nintendo. I don't fully place on it. I actually think this is not a replacement for your Switch 1 in most cases. You hang on to your Switch 1, hang on to your collection. Most games may not get upgraded right away. There may be a fee. Unless you really want to play it, unless that game's like really you want to play online.
Yeah. And I would say that is because I watched the Direct late because I was at work. So as soon as I got home, I looked at social media. I just watched it right away. I was blown away by the Direct. Then I go online, and the only bad thing, literally the only thing that is bad about this Direct and what they revealed today is just the cost of stuff. The cost of what. And it's not the console. I think the console price point is fine. $450, it's okay.
Which I think before the current environment, I think they were aiming for 400. Yes.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 400.
It is actually 350 in Japan.
But
right?
That's what's going to get to you. So in Japan, everything's way cheaper. It's like $100 cheaper for the console. The games are about $60. It's just the US.
It's going to be huge in Japan.
Expensive. And again, the price point is the biggest issue that I see today that is causing some of this negativity. Because everyone's like, the games look amazing. The console looks amazing. Why does it cost this much? It costs way too much. And I have to, I mean, I don't want to get negative, but I have to agree because you're charging $80 for Mario Kart. No video game on the market has ever been charged for $80. That's a lot of money for one.
Well, they're doing not true. The Chrono Trigger was $80 on the Super Nintendo.
In the modern age, I mean, we're used to like 60. Then they bumped it to 70.
I think the true price they were aiming for is the digital, because I've never seen Nintendo or Sony or Xbox at launch do cheaper on digital than physical. So I think that really reveals the truth there. Like,
or they're trying to encourage people to get the bundle for $500. I don't know.
Okay, that's a good question for the chat and anyone watches the replay, and Cyrus and Rhea. That's my interpretation of it. I've never seen one of the big three do cheaper for digital at launch, and that's what I'm assuming is that's what they were aiming for, but because of costs of world trade right now, and I really don't like to get into politics, but it's a reality of,
but it's the reality
importing and exporting right now.
Yeah, it's
so I think that's why you're getting 80. I think if nothing would have happened, I think they would have done 70.
But here's the weird part, though, right?
Yeah.
They're being really flimsy with the pricing though, because Mario Kart is $80, but Donkey Kong they're charging
I think
$69.
I think I have a reason for that.
So why is Mario Kart more?
I will explain. I will explain. I think that Mario Kart, you definitely cannot get that on a Switch 1. I'm guessing that eventually they're going to show, I might be wrong. They might not do this, but I think it's a lower price point. I think that game potentially could run on a Switch 1 too, the Donkey Kong one.
Really?
And there might be a Switch 1 SKU for that, is my guess. But I could be completely wrong on that. I just have a theory.
But it's not even just that. For example, like the Zelda Nintendo Switch 2 editions or the Kirby Nintendo Switch 2 editions, I saw they were putting the listings up on Walmart and GameStop. Those Nintendo 2 editions, like if you buy the full game and the upgrade together, I guess, it's $80 as well.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're pushing for like $80 is like the new price point. Which,
well, because of the cost of world trade right now.
But it's not.
It's not just the United States. They were stating in the article about Japan. There's having some issues in other countries too, and that's why.
Well, because Nintendo for Switch 2 production, they originally the Switch was produced in China. They moved production of Switch 2 to Vietnam to try and get away from the tariff situation, but now Vietnam is getting tariffs. So that's, again, cost is going down the consumer. I just don't like the precedent of $80 games. This, by the way, I tweeted about this earlier today. If Nintendo's charging $80 for their games now, GTA 6 is going to be $100. Mm-hmm. They're going to charge like a ton.
Well, I think that game is justified. For my whole thing is just like when we're talking about movie talk, RJ. It depends on this. It's not all one size fits all scenario. I don't think every game or every movie should be this expensive. I think there should be. I think there should be variable pricing. Not every game should be $100, but how much effort went into Grand Theft Auto, the new one? I think. I
wanted to ask you guys this too, because this is something I've been thinking about today. Looking at the price of the console, it's $50 cheaper than a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. It's only a $50 difference. And with the cost of the games, right? I feel like that the appeal of the original Switch was the affordability. Because
that's part of it.
Nintendo knew that it was not as powerful as the other consoles. So they wanted to be competitive by offering the portability aspect and the accessibility aspect. And part of the accessibility is the price. Mm-hmm. So we look at Switch 2, okay, you pay $50 more, you get a PS5. So
I actually, this is a great question.
So that's why I'm asking you guys.
I think
my question is, what exactly, like in the eyes of Nintendo, how are they justifying this price point? Like in terms of like,
because
what is the appeal of Switch 2 now then?
Even though it's more than I would want to pay, that Mario Kart looks worth it. Like my big fear about that Mario Kart was that it was just going to be a better version of 8 that I've been playing. There's a lot of advancements in there. You could not have done that on the Switch 1. It feels like a big game. And it almost does like, remember Cyrus SSX3 when you were going on a track and you could just keep going and go to different tracks. You never stopped. They're kind of like doing that on Championship. You could just keep driving in between tracks. There's a lot of things that's doing. The amount of players, they had a few extra moves in there. The only thing that's missing for me is I want to see more Nintendo characters other than Mario World in there too, and other than Mario Tracks. Hopefully we eventually get there in DLC, but even if they don't, that's what's just that the games look really, really good so far, RJ. They justify
the games are fine. I just think the prices are out of control. And again, it may not be the fault of Nintendo. They may just be like, hey, if we want to turn a profit, we have to charge this month because our margin is destroyed because of these tariffs. But I feel like the price point is removing some of that accessibility, because you look at it, why should little Timmy buy a Switch when he can get $50 more and get a PS5? Right?
Because the replay about
exclusives,
but
the exclusives are also going to be like $80. So I don't know.
Go ahead, Rhea.
I did want to kind of jump in. I think I can pass it over to Cyrus because he mentioned a really good point about Chrono Trigger being $80 back in the day. And yeah, as far as like, you know, you and Max being there in the moment when all that was going on, sometimes the consoles themselves were cheaper than some of the games, right? So like, how would it be that you can justify to like your parents or save up enough allowance to buy a game that's like $80-$60 each when like money was a lot more expensive back then?
I'm realizing I very like I've been poor most of my life, and majority of my collecting back in the day when I was growing up from my parents, it was used. I barely ever got stuff new. The only one game I really got new, like right off the bat, right away, was TMNT Manhattan Project, the third, like the NES game. But I like Cyrus. Those Chrono Trigger was $80. I didn't buy that.
Yeah. And I want to clarify real quick. Like,
so I didn't know about that.
I'm gonna buy the Switch too. I'm buying.
Oh,
it
we
right
know.
away.
We know.
I can justify spending this amount of money. Like, I can afford it. It's fine. I just feel like though that this increased price point does kind of put a bigger barrier to entry than the original Switch did, right? Because think about when the Switch first came out, it was the cheapest console on the market. Like, it was very affordable, and Nintendo wasn't charging $70 for games like Xbox and Sony were. So now they're kind of pushing the boundary of like, how much can you charge for games currently? Like, they're setting the precedent now that $80 is the new price point already.
Well, here's the thing: even if you didn't buy the Switch One, if you're a Switch One owner, this isn't like a huge upgrade. It isn't for me. That's my thoughts. But if you're new to the Switch, it's totally worth it too, because you can buy on the used market old Switch games that are very affordable. They'll play. They just won't play the upgraded version. They'll just play the regular resolution. You know, so it's still a good. Yeah,
and some of the games are still being released for Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, not all of them,
some
but
of them are. Like, some of the big ones. I know Pokemon still getting Switch 1 and Switch 2, and they said Metroid Prime is still Switch 1 and Switch 2.
Yeah, so I don't think it's like like the people that have been supporting Nintendo for years that buy every console. It's not like the biggest upgrade. It's just the new games and the new experience with online is what I think is the selling point. That's my biggest negative. Is I was hoping that it would just be across the board, be a complete upgrade for my whole Switch One collection off the bat, like Xbox does, free upgrades.
I will say Xbox did the best job with upgrades this generation.
I will say right now,
they did everyone all for free, and it was
they had to
library.
I would say if you are on a budget, bar none, the best bang for your buck is the Xbox and Game Pass right now. If you're worried about buying brand new games, I've played so many new games on the Game Pass. It's an amazing thing. You could still buy backwards. Why are you looking at me like that, Cyrus?
You said buy and you said Game Pass. You're not buying games on Game.
You're renting.
No, but the best value.
You're renting them.
No, best bang for your buck. I meant buy a Xbox and buy Game Pass. You don't own the games, no, but you know. I think it's the value is through the roof there.
Okay, so I did want to kind of interject a little bit because we're talking about value, and that's very important. I understand that, and for me, I guess I'm in this realm, and I feel like a lot of us the four of us are kind of in this realm, overlapping a little bit, where we will pay for quality, and we like our curated, designated experiences within a platform that was specifically designed to play those games. Because I can imagine that, like, certainly Max and Cyrus, like, y'all collect physical media and the original consoles they were intended to play on, and the original, TV sets to get that as authentic of an experience as possible. That's what I want out of the Switch, even though I acknowledge I can get better value and potentially higher performance on an all-in-one device like a PC or another portable PC. But I like my specific environment to play my games the way that they were designed to be or intended to be played.
I like the curated experience of a console release, and
I think that's what gives Nintendo specifically the leg up here, where it's like they do just make such great games that, like, you can't deny by like watching this Nintendo Direct and looking at what the games that they're making, they look extremely high quality. The quality is there. Like, nobody can deny that they're making some of the best games out there right now. It's just, again, it's that price point. Just I think it's just the precedent that it sets with the whole industry, because now it's like, I feel like now everybody's going to start charging more.
My biggest criticism about the online upgrade is, are these features exclusive to the Switch 2?
The new content?
The new camera where you can play
Yes,
the game.
yes.
GameCube 2 is GameCube exclusive?
Yeah, so from what I understand, the game chat, the camera, and the mouse functionality, those are only on Switch 2.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you want to
the mouse, that did not sell to me whatsoever. It feels like another thing that I'm never going to use.
You might be surprised. You might be surprised.
I need to actually feel it and use it for myself. I could see it like,
where are you gonna have a table everywhere when you're gaming?
I don't have it. That's my only issue with it. It's just like, are they gonna like sell like
tabletop mode has always just been like that's just sort of like been there as a perceived, value proposition, just an add-on, like, oh yeah, let's add this to like, give it another feature.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Max, Cyrus, you guys know back in like the NES days, like Nintendo made like a ton of accessories, like third parties did. I could see like a third party being like, hey, we're making like a lap table. Like, you sit on your chair and like, here's a little lap table you can put your mouse on for your Switch. $20.
Yeah. Well, like I have the mouse for the Super Nintendo, and there wasn't a ton of games for it, but the games that used it, like Mario Paint and some of the shooter games like Terminator 2 and things like that, it's actually a pretty cool, there's a lot of uses for it that you wouldn't think. And since they're really shooting for more of this high-end type stuff with the 120 frames per second and everything, the mouse support seems like it's going to really help those first-person shooters and stuff.
Yeah, I really want to see what Metroid Prime 4 plays like with the mouse controls. But also, too, like, they showed Civilization 6 and, like, how you can play that game like you would on your PC with the mouse.
Right.
Could you, like, strategy games are going to be huge on Switch. I mean, could you imagine, like, Baldur's Gate 3 on Switch? Like, just play it like you do on a PC with the mouse controls. I mean, that would change the game on how you play. That would literally, like, because on console, like, you don't have the mouse functionality, obviously, but, like, imagine if you did. Like, that'd be a huge game changer for how you play that game.
Yeah, we are lucky it wasn't 500. Wait,
it's 500.
It basically is
the Mario
after tax.
Kart bundle. Well, yeah, with tax too. Were you guys surprised, by the way, that they didn't show like a different colored version?
I would have preferred you had a variety of.
It's just one color at launch.
I thought that there would be a Metroid Prime color.
That was a fan thing.
Or a Mario Kart bundle that had like a Mario Kart theme.
Well, I think to be fair, like almost every Nintendo console that's launched has only had one color at launch.
GameCube had black and indigo.
Was that? Oh, that's right. It had two. Yeah, I think the Game Boy Advance had.
And
the Game Boy Advance, I think.
The Switch had the gray, and then it had the blue and the red.
They only had the white at the beginning, though.
No, it was on the original Switch was just the gray, right?
No, it was gray, and then it was red and blue.
But that's the Joy-Cons.
Yeah, the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, what was the best game? We're gonna look at the game. We're gonna look a little bit at the gameplay for Mario Kart. What was the the game that really is like, okay, really justified the Switch 2 for you? I think it was still Mario Kart.
Well, yeah, Mario Kart, like that. I mean, you showed that game at the start because it sets the tone right away. Mm-hmm. Like, again, this game is the launch game too. Like, it looked like this is a launch game for a reason. It's gonna sell people on this console, So, I mean, it looks great. Like, honestly, like they did way more with this than I thought they would.
If it wasn't
all out.
Well, if you really think about it, like nowadays people are so busy, traveling is more expensive too, actually. So, like for instance, me and Cyrus love hanging out. If we both had the Switch 2 and played GameCube and F-Zero, Mario Kart Double Dash, and all those games that we could be like, it's a different experience to be in the same room, but it's not much far removed.
Well, especially
that's what sold it to me. Besides the new games, like I was like, wow. I was mad that they were withholding GameCube, but when I saw this, and I want to show the video about online, but I was like, that's what sold to me, Cyrus. So I know you're still thinking about it, but I was like, man, me and Cyrus and Rhea and RJ could be playing GameCube games online, which I never played online, friends.
Let me say this. I have the higher version of the Nintendo Online thing, and I play a lot of those old games, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The online is really not good. Like when you try to connect with other people, it's laggy as hell, man. When you play like an NES game or Genesis game or something, they got to fix that. If you're going to play, especially if you're going to play GameCube online, can you imagine playing F-Zero and you're lagging? Like,
oh yeah, it'd be awful.
They got to figure that out.
Yeah, I hope that they upgrade the internet capabilities on the Switch too. Other thing I don't know if you guys saw the UI. They had a picture of the UI. It's the exact same as Switch 1.
Yeah.
My only thing is, I am just praying, please upgrade the eShop. The eShop runs so terribly on the Switch. It's so laggy. It's so slow. It's not very well curated. I really hope that they update it to make a better user experience. And please add eShop music and themes. Just please. I'd love that.
RJ, what I'm wondering what you think about this. You know how you said the UI looks basically the same, might even be exactly the same. Yeah. I wonder if the games that are on Switch that are like dynamic resolution, if they will stay at a higher fidelity because they're running on better hardware. You know what I'm saying? Like when you run the Switch game on the new Switch. I wonder how much, if there'll be that's a
great question. I'm sure that like Digital Foundry will probably do like a breakdown of stuff when they get the console.
The other thing that I don't necessarily feel that bad paying, like I would if I had a choice, I like all the systems. I don't do this fanboy stuff. I like playing the exclusives on each console. I have an Xbox, I have a PlayStation, I want to get a Switch too. So because of the replayability of Nintendo titles, I would rather pay more for a Nintendo title than a Sony or an Xbox. I would rather play an Xbox game on Game Pass or wait till the PlayStation game, the PlayStation Plus. But I feel more value, and it's going to retain its value. If I, like, say I want to get the physical card for Switch 2, I know I'm going to be able to sell it if I do finally get sick of that game. I will be able to get a decent trade-in value for it.
So it kind of goes back. So basically, what you say, it kind of goes back to what
Nintendo's worth it.
Well, yeah, it's what Ray was saying earlier. Like you kind of attribute Nintendo to like a higher standard of quality.
Well, the replayability's off the charts. I think there's some better games. I think there's better games on PlayStation, Xbox too. There's different experiences, but just the value and the replayability. Like I can always go back to Mario Kart. I could always go back to Tetris and Super Mario Brothers and Smash Brothers and Mario Party. My wife loves Mario Party. That's one of the only things that we still play together is Mario Party. You know, it's just off the charts. Like I don't buy a lot of. Let's be honest too. You see, RJ, you said the scenario where the Switch one was a value proposition to customers. A lot of those games weren't built on the ground up for Switch. A lot of those games were just reworked for the Switch. Like they weren't started from scratch. There were very few that were started from scratch in that whole 6-year life cycle for the Switch.
Can I ask Reyes something? I really want to get Reyes. I need to ask Reyes.
You said no. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So I was thinking, it seems to me that things are kind of aimed a little bit maybe higher with the Switch 2. Like maybe what I mean by that is like age range maybe a little bit higher, income maybe a little bit higher. It seems like fidelity, quality, everything seems to be a little bit higher. The price is a little bit higher. You know, a lot of when Nintendo decided to merge their handheld and home console thing with the Switch, obviously Nintendo's always done, you know, amazingly well with handheld stuff for kids, and a lot of that was mainly aimed towards, you know, like sort of a younger demographic. Do we think this is more aimed at an older demographic, and would parents really feel comfortable spending $450 on a handheld they're giving to little kids? I mean, what do you think this means for the way the audience of Nintendo is skewing here?
I would argue that, or I would suggest that the original Switch came out in 2017. So 8 years later, those folks who were little kids, they're college
Oh.
age kids, and those kids are graduating college and getting like high end engineering and tech jobs, and starting their own startups and stuff. So these kids are I would argue are more economically set than I was in my being the same age back in 8 years ago. It's just a different climate as far as like young people being like even more financially set than arguably older people. So that's from my perspective. And I do think, to your point, it is more of an older demographic that they're aiming towards. So maybe not necessarily like parents buying their kids a Nintendo Switch 2 because of the price point. Similar to like how parents may not buy children a PS5 unless that, is something that they're able to do feasibly. So yes, like to your point, the intention I do think is for folks who grew up with Switch 1 and who are of an older age where these hardware enhancements will be appreciated. And it's essentially giving them an opportunity to go back to the experiences that they may have had in the earlier stages of Switch and now have a reason to revisit them now because they have like, that embedded nostalgia in a way. Like 8 years, like I would think you have nostalgia, for things back and then. So those are my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I agree. The kids that grew up with it now want to. Since the Switch came out, people have been asking for a Switch Pro. This is better than a Pro. This is a Switch 2. I actually think this is good marketing for Switch 1 again too, because people this is an announcement, like you could really see if this is for you or not, or you should just buy the first OLED.
Do you think Nintendo might?
It's still a decent Switch.
You think they might keep the original Switch around for a longer period?
Oh yeah.
This is almost like this theory. This is almost like having the Xbox having 2 SKUs with the Series X and the Series S now.
Well, think about
the Switch 2 is like the Series X. The Switch 1 is like the Series S. Is what my
I was going to say too. Think about the 3DS. When the Switch came out, they still supported 3DS for a good number of years.
The Switch 1 sales have waned a little bit, but I think after this, people are really going to know what camp they fit in. Like there's only a few things that you can, at least the first year or two, that you're only going to be able to get on the Switch 2 that you can't get on the Switch 1 is the online functionality, the GameCube, and some of the new first-party games.
Yeah.
I also want to add.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was also going to add there were. I could be incorrect because this was like during like the peak of pandemic, but there was a limited supply of PS5s, and then there was also audiences who were like, I just want to wait for more exclusives to come out for the console. And I could see folks doing that where like the Nintendo Switch is desirable, but there's not enough there as far as like exclusive content for them to justify making the jump right away. And I think we touched on that earlier too. So I bring up the example with the PS5 because like who's to say what the supply will be for Switch 2, and with the supply of regular Switches or last gen Switches being so much more accessible as far as like being used, or even if they do like a price cut, which would be really nice, like a $299 OLED, that's a really big deal, especially if they bundle it with like Mario Kart Deluxe. So I see, Max, to your point, like a price cut on the new consoles, desirability of new games still being released for those for the first gen console, and then just like those late adopters who are just waiting for the library to expand.
Yeah, and I think if you are new to the Switch altogether, if you didn't have the Switch 1, this is a great value for the console.
New to the Switch, this is the great time.
No, this is a great one to get.
Yeah.
Like if you're coming in, if you didn't have the Switch 1, because there's
all the old games.
Although I do think the Switch 1 cards are going to go up in price too.
Oh, I got a question. I wasn't clear about something. Maybe you guys understand it better than I do. That upgrade thing that you can do for some of the Switch games like Breath of the Wild, does that work for the cartridge too, or just the digital version?
Both.
It does work for both? Okay.
Yes. So what they said is that what you do is if you own the game digitally or physically, you still have to buy the upgrade pack on the eShop for Switch 2.
Wait, hang on.
I'm
You
not
have
buy-
to buy.
I'm not
The up-
buying any upgrade packs because they might come to the online service for free.
Yes.
Because
Sorry.
because
Let
the
me
Zelda
clarify.
the Zelda ones,
Some of
it
the-
depends on the game. Depends on the game.
Yes,
Yeah.
depending on the game. So right now they've only said that Zelda,
And Pokemon.
both Zeldas will be free.
I
The
think a
upgrade's
couple
free if you're a
Pokemons
Nintendo
are.
Switch Online member. The
Okay.
other upgrades so far, they're only pay only.
But you can just play the Switch version just by, you don't have to pay anything unless you want the upgraded stuff.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
You can
Yes.
still that's
Yes.
Okay.
so that was my downside. I keep saying is like it's not instantly everything's going to look better. You're just going to be able to play your back catalog games on your new system.
Yeah, unless there's like a specific upgrade that you buy, you're not getting an upgrade.
They didn't really detail more about how those virtual game cards work, did they? Or did they say anything new about that? Because I was kind of wanting some clarity about that a little bit.
I honestly don't remember.
There's
Yeah.
something about you even able to let people borrow them, but I think you're going to have not just the individual Switch online service. You're going to have the family plan for that. I think. I don't think they clarified that. I would like to learn more about that because that's a great feature, especially these games are expensive. You don't have to buy multiple game cards or multiple digital for if you have different, like if you're a parent and you have 2 kids, you're like, let your brother borrow your Mario Kart World game for a week or something, you know? But I think you're just going to have the family plan. I don't think you're going to be able to do that outside your group. I would hope I'm wrong, but I don't know if anyone caught that or not. Because that was an interesting feature. I like that.
Yeah,
part.
they still need to go into more detail about it. I'm not for sure.
Are you guys concerned that this is a little complicated? Like, maybe? You know what I mean?
No, I think it'll be ironed out. There's just a lot of questions at the start. There are, things are going to cost more. Me personally, something I wanted from the Switch 2 was everything upgraded automatically because I'm an Xbox fan. I love that you just got everything, always got the best version free, no matter what. But that's a thing of the past. That's not happening anymore. Even Xbox is delisting some of their backwards compatibility stuff. Oh, hey, Retro Bro. Hey. Okay, so here's a look at before we get to the video.
Mario, I was guessing you were going to watch the video.
Yeah. Here are the characters for Mario Kart, and then I had one thing. Senior Nerd said, I thought for sure the next Mario Kart will feature Nintendo characters than just Super Mario characters, but well, that's what I wanted to. I wanted like Sega did before, Sega All-Stars Racing, where they had all Sega characters. I wanted all Nintendo characters. I didn't want just Mario characters.
This could be like Smash Brothers where they start adding characters, though.
Yeah. But there is some really interesting ones here. There's a crab. There's a snowman. There's a dolphin.
They're picking random background characters now.
Yeah, I was not expecting.
Moo Farms.
Yeah, Moo Moo.
That's gonna be popular.
Yeah, that's really interesting. There's a bat. Lots of new characters.
I really hope that we see some of the Odyssey characters, like Cappy would be really cool to see.
Odyssey was my least favorite Mario game.
Which I don't understand how, but okay.
I thought it was cool, but I think when you have the hat mechanic, it takes away from the classic power-ups in Mario and all his suits, like a cat suit.
Because it's trying to be
Tanuki
different.
suit.
That's the whole point.
And
Trying to be
it
different.
loses some of the charm for me personally. I still think it's a good game, but I love the suit power-ups. You know what I'm saying, Cyrus?
Yeah.
You just throw a hat on something, you become that. It's not like Mario puts on a suit. It's cuter to have Mario in a little cat suit or Tanuki suit or flower power hat and change his whole uniform instead of just putting him on a T-Rex. Oh, now you're the T-Rex. That's a cool mechanic, but I have to revisit that game if I could find it. Do you see what I'm saying, Rhea?
Oh, sorry. I was just hoping that they'll add Goombet in the future.
Goomba?
Goombet.
Goombet.
Oh god,
Yeah.
I would love if they added Paper Mario characters.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
No, I'm not saying Odyssey is a bad game. It's just I love all the other Mario games better when there's new costumes. I like costumes instead of a hat that just gets thrown on people.
I mean, we all have our favorites. That's the cool thing is there's a lot of, everybody has a different game.
Super Mario Odyssey is the equivalent to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Hyperstone.
Oh no
that franchise.
No, we're not going to do this right now, Max. This
yes, it is.
No.
Okay. All right.
Hyperstone Heist is amazing. Shut up. You don't know
No,
what you're talking about.
no.
Look
So
at the gameplay.
anything else about? Yeah, we'll look at the gameplay. Anything else you want to say about the character list here? Or surprised by it? Is there any characters missing from Mario Kart 8 that you really? I wanted.
No.
Link back.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say there's no Koopa Leagues. No Koopa Leagues.
Bro, that is a good point.
So far, at least.
yeah.
So far, at least, no Koopa Leagues.
Yeah.
I mean, this is at launch. This is probably what you're going to get. What are they going to? This is going to be. There's going to be so many circles of characters that especially when you have 24 racers. There's no way this is all you're going to get for the
Oh,
life.
yeah.
No, the
Yeah.
roster's gonna be massive.
Yeah, because of how many racers you can have on a track. Maybe they could, even with the power of the Switch 2, maybe they could get to even more than 24 racers and have the knockout, because they have a knockout mode. And you just keep going. Like, what if they said, well, the Switch 2 can handle 50 racers at once, and they just keep knocking them down? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that game's going to get a lot of updates. It's gonna evolve. Absolutely.
Because it's not on the card.
Mm.
Me and RJ, we're still going to debate that later. All right, let me bring up the actual gameplay. I'll probably bring up this gameplay, and the GameCube, and then the Donkey Kong.
Good lord.
What?
Where'd Ray go?
The amiibos are getting a price increase as well.
Really?
Yes, Wario64 just uploaded the price listing on GameStop, I believe.
Can you share it? Put in the private chat.
Yeah.
Okay. Amiibos are more expensive. Do you still collect amiibos, Rhea?
I do, and now there's 4 more for Street Fighter 6 and 4 more for
Yes,
Hyrule Warriors.
I was
can't
sho-
wait.
I was shocked that Street Fighter's getting amiibos. That took me by surprise.
How many do you have? Like a almost complete collection, or you only select certain ones you pick out, Rhea?
No, I'm a completionist. Ideally,
okay?
I would try to get the North American ones as often as possible, but now I've been okay with getting overseas ones.
Okay. All right, let's play a little bit of this here. I was blown away by this right at the start. To play a little bit of music there. The tracks are huge.
I'm curious about the open world aspect.
I usually don't like open world games because I think they lack personality. But this does not lack personality. Like, this track is filled to the brim with character.
Dude, I imagine I could kill hours doing nothing, just driving around doing nothing in this game. Like, I love to do that in all kinds of games. Grand Theft Auto, Minecraft. I could do that in this.
Look at that boat thing on the water.
Well, you know what's crazy? Looking at this, you know what this reminded me of too? They kind of took a little bit from
Look at that! That's freaking huge!
Oh yeah. They took a little bit from Forza Horizon a little bit.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now
Well,
if you say this
tracks.
game, if you could say this game's not worth $80, I'm like, you're going to get $80 out of this. But they have to do that for each game. They have to do it for each game. You can't just do an upgraded Wii U game that was on the Switch and then a new version and do $80. That's not going to cut it. Although they're going to try Switch 2 edition.
Oh, and also for online folks on the Switch 1, the seasons of new content, like the new tracks, those were free for the online folks. So there is some inherent value, although they are kind of tethering. They're really pushing the online service, which I understand. You're not going to get away from that on any console.
So in this little gameplay, they showed the characters grabbing a bag, and then they get a new costume. Are the costumes going to be like just cosmetics? Do you guys think it's going to be like abilities too?
I don't know. I don't understand what's going on too. They're like jumping off walls now instead of gliding.
There's a lot of new stuff going on.
Yeah, new
absolutely.
mechanics. Yeah.
What's the purpose of that? I kind of liked hovering to the wall, almost like a DeLorean stuck to a wall, but now you do like tricks on it.
Yeah. There's a lot. I saw like your vehicles can get big, like Super Mario. You know, like.
Well, at launch, the
interesting.
only thing I'm buying besides Nintendo Online is for the GameCube is this. That's it.
Oh,
Like,
and then the time of day changes, the weather.
Oh,
yeah,
on the
weather's
same tracks.
dynamic.
Oh my god, the hours you can get into this. Yeah, with friends.
Yeah,
Totally
And they
worth
said
it.
they also said like in the Grand Prix mode, you like drive to each track. So
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's
That is
interesting.
so wild. Yeah.
The weather effects also, that adds variety because sometimes Mario Kart even feels stale after a while.
Honestly,
but
Max.
the big thing that I wanted to ask you guys. So in this trailer, they show like the characters get a bag and then like they get a costume. Do you guys think the costumes are gonna have like abilities or are they just cosmetic?
I hope
think
they add abilities.
That's
know.
one thing that's been missing since Double Dash is specific abilities to each.
They're gonna do a treehouse or something on this. Soon?
Direct.
A direct
just for this
Okay.
game. Yeah,
Okay.
that's on April 17th.
Really hope with the way the tracks are this big, I would love down the line that they add Double Dash back too. Could they do Double Dash carts too, or they just would not mix it up? I don't know. Would that break the gameplay if they had Double Dash versus single characters? Okay.
Did they add they added MK6 Mario Kart 64 to the online service, right? So maybe they'll add Double Dash to the GameCube online.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm sure they would do that.
But I'm saying also, I would love to see them do Double Dash within this game too, like the two characters, two big carts with these big freaking tracks.
There's
That's
so
what
much going on. Like I'm watching the background stuff and all these dinosaurs with all the stuff they're doing, and it's just there's so much the traffic.
If you're talking about Grand Theft Auto and Mario Kart World about being that price point, I have no issues there whatsoever. I do have an issues with the Switch 2 edition, Switch 1 games being 80. I do have issues there. Hold on. Let me bring that back up.
I want to ask Cyrus now. Okay, so like I haven't really heard you be very critical of stuff. I mean, you're asking you're very inquisitive, but you're not necessarily like, throwing criticisms everywhere. So, I kind of want to get your thoughts on where are you at currently?
Let me tell you a secret about me, Ray. I'm not very critical.
You're inquisitive, which I appreciate, because not a lot of people like Max, they'll just jump in and say, "Oh, this doesn't look good." Of course, I didn't read the article yet.
So I don't look. I'm trying to absorb as much as I can before I even decide when I'm gonna buy it. Like I haven't even made that decision yet. I know I'm gonna get one. I'm just trying to figure out, do I get this at launch or do I wait a little while? I've got a Switch OLED. It's really cool. Do I need this right away? The Mario Kart thing is, it's really pushing me to be like
Mario Kart and GameCube playing online with your friend Max.
Yeah, well, the GameCube, we'll see how that goes.
Because you can emulate GameCube. That's for a lot of people out there. You can unless you're playing online. Like that's the thing that sold it to me. Is like, yeah, you can emulate and you can even get 4K and you don't have to pay an upgrade fee, but you won't get that online with your friends.
I think if I was to have a criticism, it would be these games are getting expensive. And I think that's the criticism most people have, right? This stuff is, but that's Nintendo. We talked about earlier about being willing to pay for quality. And it seems like a lot of stuff, whether it's whatever platform you're talking about, seems like a lot of stuff is not as high quality. It gets released and it's not even finished, and they got to do like 15,000 updates, and then
I don't want
all this
that
kind of stuff
scenario to happen now that it's not. Yeah. Now that it's not on the card, I don't want that to start out with Nintendo.
I mean, let's just play devil's advocate and kind of acknowledge. Okay, this is kind of the way things are going to be ongoing. It sucks, but yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Styrus. I just wanted to add that.
No. I don't have a lot to say about it because, I mean, it's not much of a criticism. We all can see that the price is higher, right? But there's reasons for that, and we can all have our thoughts about the reasons for that. But that is a legitimate concern. This is a new platform from Nintendo, and it's at a higher price point than Nintendo has ever been. And I'm not worried about it for me so much. I'm worried about it for the parents buying for their kids and this kind of stuff. What does it mean for the size of the tent, right? It's something that because we want good consoles to have a good life and to have
with the
good
cost, you
support.
don't necessarily have an issue with the console price itself, just the consistent game prices.
Well, let me say this. So I understand why the price is what it is for the console, but when I was talking earlier about how parents buy their kids these portable things, and it's one thing to buy a console that sits in front of your TV and doesn't move, and you pay $500. It's another thing to buy a kid, a portable handheld they're going to take in the car and they're going to put in their backpack and they're going to, and it's $500. And then the games are $180, whatever they end up costing. That's why I'm saying price is something that it's on my mind. So if you want to call that a criticism, okay. But as far as the quality of what I'm seeing, I have no complaints. This thing's better than I thought it was going to be. 120 hertz? That's crazy. Like I was not expecting that. The better SD card support I think is awesome. 256 gigs of memory, faster memory too. I mean, specs. What I've seen of the specs, yeah, this thing's great. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of criticisms. I don't. I think it's really cool.
I do think your feedback is valid now that I'm contextualizing it in because I was thinking about it in terms of folks Zoomers, Gen Z folks. Maybe this is for them, but it could also be for them. But maybe the kind of the core audience of folks still being that this is their first console or this is their first exposure to Nintendo. So out the gate, it's not as accessible price wise. And I do think maybe a short-term solution for that is the backwards compatibility for those newer titles, at least for a period of time. And let's say someone has a Switch Lite, for example, a $200 console, they can still relatively keep up, with newer gen games. So still the games are $80, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like there are various entry points where it does make sense. And yeah, I don't know, if buying a $500 portable console for a child is feasible.
Right.
Well, I think this is gone. They need to do another Switch 2 Lite now and do 300 or 350 or something instead of 450.
It would certainly have less power, right? Because I don't know, the Switch Lite and the original Switch, they're pretty compatible, or they're pretty comparable, right? Other than the screen
same
resolution.
power, you just know you can't dock it and you can't remove the Joy-Cons. Yeah, same power level, I think. Okay. Let's look at the GameCube, because this was a selling point for me. Mario, if it was just the Donkey Kong game, I would have been I could wait. But because it's Mario Kart World, and the online functionality, and the GameCube playing online, there's some great GameCube games, and just playing those online with friends. But you have some valid concerns though. Cyrus, is the online GameCube going to work well? Because you said
I'm hopeful. They're adding all this new online stuff, the chat stuff and all. I'm hopeful that they're finally getting their crap together, and this online stuff is really going to be what it needs to be.
Well, I never really did the Switch one with the Ethernet cable. I just did Wi-Fi. So maybe when I get
I use Ethernet I have the OLED, so I use Ethernet, and it doesn't make any difference. That's not the problem. The problem is the server, the Nintendo stuff, whatever's going on with that.
Now,
let me ask you this real quick. I'm sorry. Do you think there's a possibility they're raising the price of the service?
Oh, yeah. Yes, expansion
Okay.
pack GameCube.
Oh,
They
yeah,
didn't
I
even
didn't
comment
even
on
think of
that.
that.
No, 100%. I would be
Mm.
shocked if they just say, "Ian, it's included right now on your base price." They did an expansion pack for Genesis games. Of
Yeah.
course, they're gonna do it's gonna go.
I don't remember
GameCube-
if the price increased, but then again, Genesis games versus GameCube. So
Yeah.
not to say one is better than the other. Sega, Sega does what Nintendo,
Yeah. I want to know from RJ in Ray. Did you have GameCube growing up? What was your first Nintendo console? I can't remember.
Oh, Game Boy Color
Game Boy Color.
that I actually owned. I would play like the original Game Boy with my cousins, but actually owning, I got a translucent purple.
My daughter just bought that exact Game Boy Color at a retro store like a couple of weeks ago. She just bought that exact one you're talking about.
But did you play any of the
That's
GameCube
amazing.
games in the over the years, or RJ? Did you play any GameCube games?
So the GameCube and the Game Boy Advance were the first Nintendo consoles I ever owned.
Mhm.
They're also the last Nintendo consoles I owned up until the Switch. So I had a GameCube growing up, and then it was GameCube was great. It is my childhood nostalgic console.
Okay.
So,
Well, let's look at this.
yes, I do have to head out though. 'Cause
Okay.
I got work in the morning tomorrow. Sadly,
All right, thanks,
I wish I could
RJ.
join for longer, but
It's nice talking with you, RJ. Thank
yeah,
you.
it's nice talking to you guys too. Y'all keep up the good conversation. Y'all got tons more to
Yeah.
dive into.
All right, see you later. Feel
Thanks.
better.
Yes. I had a Fairchild. I started with the beginning of game. No, I'm just kidding. I said that because I didn't even know what it was. Because the only reason I know what that was Cyrus told me about the Fairchild console,
Yeah.
the first video game console, right? Is that what it was
Yeah,
called?
The Fairchild Channel F. We saw one when we were up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we were hanging out.
All right, so let's look at this GameCube stuff. Does this get you excited, Ray? The GameCube part of this portion of this, or is just
Oh yeah, I like lost my breath when I saw that. It was something I didn't ever like expect. I mean, it makes sense that it would be down the road. It just always felt like a pipe dream. Like I never really like thought that the online service would really get much better because we kind of have gotten used to mediocrity. To Cyrus's point, I was just like, oh okay, I guess this is the way things are gonna be.
Mhm.
Yeah,
let's
it
look
looks
at this.
cool. I'm hopeful if it's good, it's going to be amazing.
Oh,
Because-
if they could get Star Wars Rogue Squadron on here online too, oh my goodness. Eventually,
Yeah.
Originally released in 2001. Here are
Is
the
there
Wave
any
Race.
Star Wars games on any of their service? I'm trying to
Nah. All this stuff is on Xbox.
Oh,
All the
yeah.
backwards compatible Star Wars. That's a good point. Now this is not the HD version. This is GameCube.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
weird. It looked HD. Is it a loading issue on StreamYard? It looks like it's buffering.
I don't.
Yeah, it's choppy for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why.
Oh no, I just wanted to confirm because when I was watching it live, it looked like they were up
Oh.
res, and I think they even said it was.
Yeah, no, it is. We don't know exactly what. It's probably 1080p, but we don't really know.
We
don't
just
really-
need a goddamn new F-Zero, even if they just make new tracks. Goodness gracious.
Do you think putting this back out is sort of a test to see how interested people are in F-Zero?
With the one thing they could do with this specific game is make the arcade tracks available right away without having to beat it. That's the one thing they could do with the F-Zero. Because a lot of people haven't played those tracks because you have to beat the game at a really hard level to get all the extra arcade tracks. Because Namco made an arcade and a home port with different tracks.
Are y'all interested in getting that controller?
Yes.
They just sell out so fast.
Yeah.
But yes, I would like to get one.
I still didn't get the N64 or the Genesis one.
No, I didn't either. I didn't get any of them.
But
You
it
couldn't
does
get 'em.
say it does say that you can use a connection hub and use your actual GameCube controller. If you still have one.
Oh yeah, they did that for Switch One.
It still
Oh, that's
works.
cool.
That still works. And the Pro controller from Switch 1 still works.
But you won't have that C button on there.
I don't care. I could. Well, that's true. If how do you do that if your system's docked?
There's probably a way to do it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Because what I want to know is, does the new Switch work with any of the previous accessories, like your old Joy-Cons or the Pro Controller or any of that kind of stuff?
I have a compatibility list that I retweeted there.
Oh, you did? Okay, sorry.
We'll just cover a few more things. I don't want to keep you both too late. We'll just do a few more things to cover here. And let me bring this up. Overall, I'm pretty happy. Everything's going to be costing more lately. It's not isolated to Nintendo. Let me bring this up here. Here's the initial games list we have so far that have been announced. So Kirby, The Forgotten Land, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Cross World US version. I have an issue with this specific title. That's way too much for a game that's this old for an expansion pack. Even though it has a little mini game in it too. It's not like a full blown game. It's like DLC. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to find a used copy. Well, this is where I had the question. If you had the choice, I want to ask each of you: would you track down the Switch 1 card or the Switch 2 card? And for a lot of these, you would do the 2. Even though there's discrepancy about actually being on the card, the game, for a lot of these titles. I know that happened in the past for Switch 1, but I think a lot more on Switch 2 is just the key to the download. It's still physical. You still have value there. You could still sell it and let people borrow it. But, okay, so can you elaborate why you would pick 2? Like, if you didn't have this Kirby game and you could get a used copy for like $30 and pay the upgrade fee. Here's my thoughts as to why I would steer towards Switch 1. Because I could play it on my Switch 2 and my Switch 1, which you can't with this one. You can only play on the Switch 2. Yeah. Probably going to come off cheaper. And as far as I could tell, until I do more research, Kirby is actually on the card on Switch 1, whereas there's different stories about it actually being on the Switch 2 card. Now, RJ said I was wrong, but I have something to show right after this to show you why I think I'm right on that.
Max, if the game is on the card for the Switch 2, the advantage for the Switch 2 version is going to be load times are going to be way better probably because it's the new memory. It's the new cartridge format. So there's that. I don't know if that matters too much, but that's something.
It's going to be faster load times. Yes. Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. Faster load times. If you knew for sure that it wasn't actually on the card, would that make you change your mind, Rhea? Even though it's still a physical item, it still retains value. You could still do with it what you want. You could sell it. You can let people borrow it. Does that have a factor into your decision making at all, or you would still steer towards Switch 2? It does. It is a nice red card.
Yeah. So my answer is I would still buy the Switch 2 physical. I think it's because at least historically, what we've seen with let's say the Wii U, and the 3DS. The eShops still, stay supported for a period of time. You just have to make sure to download whatever content you want and keep it on your internal memory card within the console. So it is kind of at your, the content will still, I would hope, be at your disposal as long as it's still saved natively on your console. So that's the condition that I'm going in, assuming will be the case.
Okay. Now, if you had both, Cyrus, what would you go with? I would go with Switch 1 at least until I get more info.
Well, I'm not getting rid of my OLED. Like, I'm keeping this sucker around, and so it is tempting to. I like it's. So I'm not going to re-buy games I already own, but I'll pay an upgrade fee. But if I don't,
for example, here I don't have Kirby yet or the second Zelda. I have Breath of the Wild, but not Tears of the Kingdom. And now, I would go and look for a deal for both Kirby and Tears of the Kingdom and probably pay the upgrade fee if I wanted to play them instead of buying the Switch 2 edition that's $80.
Yeah.
especially since the
I-
Zelda one is free.
I-
if I have the
realistically speaking, once I've got the Switch 2 version of something, I'm probably not playing the Switch version of it.
online.
You know what I'm saying? So for the better speed and for the fact that it's newer, so it'll probably last even longer. You know, there's reasons you would want to probably get the Switch 2 version. Now that price is, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it?
And I have Mario Party Jamboree. Rhea knows I sent her the link at the end of the year last year when we got those from an eBay seller in China for like, I got it for like $30 Mario Party Jamboree.
Yeah.
Right, but
And
that's several years after it came out, so
Yeah.
it's basically backstock. Oh,
Yeah, and-
but yeah.
No, but
Okay.
yeah, but I'm saying $80 for some new modes.
Yeah,
That's where I have an issue. That's where I have an
You're not paying $80 for some new modes. You're paying $80 for the whole thing. For the whole thing. It's not just for some new modes. Like,
Okay.
because you could sell your old cartridge and put that money towards the new cartridge. You know.
True. All right.
But let me just say this. It is a little weird to see Breath of the Wild here. I have that for the Wii U, and that game.
Yes. I told you this was going to happen, Cyrus.
Yeah,
I said, wait
it's like
till
the Mario Kart 8 of the Switch.
I said, wait till the Direct. I have a sneaking feeling that Nintendo is going to repackage games that were on the Wii U for the Switch 2, upgrade it, and charge you a fee. And he was like, I don't know. He gave me a look like, I don't know. This proof is right there, Cyrus. I was right.
Yeah, you were right. There's a couple of times during that thing, I was like, "Damn it!" Like you were right. I'm like, okay. I mean, Nintendo is making their money. They're not giving away anything here.
Although it's $10 cheaper than Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
It's only $40.
I'll tell you something stupid. I'll probably buy Breath of the Wild on the Switch 2 just so I have physically all 3 versions of it. Even though I don't even need to do that, I'll probably do that anyway.
No, I get it. It's that compulsion. Like if I'm like into something, I'm all in on something.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
I'm so upset that RJ left before we got to the actual card debate. Because there's
nothing on the new cartridge. Wow. There's nothing.
I have this ready to go. He says I'm wrong. I've done research. It's just
what do you mean? What does that mean? Nothing. Like, is it just they saying
it's basically like a PS5 or Xbox disc. It's there to start to get you the download, and that's what I've heard. I've done some research on it, and RJ left before he could give me the details about why he thinks I'm wrong. So I'll have to do a follow up with him.
It seems interesting that they would improve, the memory type and speed and everything, but then not put anything on the cartridge. And I don't know. It's interesting.
That doesn't make sense. And I did want to. I think we pointed at Bravely Default already as $40. I noticed that when third parties do remasters, they tend to be $50, $40. So I do think that some of the games that we saw from third party publishers, especially what is it? Is it Ubisoft? That like they tend to do a lot of not budget titles, maybe like AA, something like that. So yeah, they release games that are like $40 where you still get, comparably, what looks like a AAA experience. So yeah, that's pretty
RJ, I think you're out of your mind that you say Cyberpunk is all on the card. Like, I think this is why third parties are in love with the Switch 2, and you're going to get a lot more titles that were on Xbox and PlayStation 5 because they don't have to work it to be fit all on this card.
I think he said they announced that though. Like
I have to find that. I cannot wait I'm going to have to bring RJ back this weekend. Just me and him.
I think that this is look, I think we don't have enough information to start making proclamations.
I have information. I don't know where he's getting his.
Okay,
so here's the other thing. I think Donkey Kong is a game that looked good graphically, but I think it is also graphically, it looks like it was obtainable on the Switch 1 too. It's just going to look better on the Switch.
Oh
2.
no! That Donkey
think so?
Kong with the amount of destructible environments.
You don't
and
think?
I don't
Okay.
think so. I think that's a whole nother level. Like,
But I think
you
that's
know
why
that-
it's 69. I think that's why.
you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of, you remember when the PS4 came out and they were showing all these demos of what the new hardware would allow them to do because of the processing capability and stuff. That's what that game showing it in the
Okay.
event reminded me of, because it's like,
It still looked good to me. I just
Yeah.
think there could be a version, and that's why that was my theory as to why it's $10 cheaper than
there probably could be a version, because you remember when the PS4 launched, there was a game called Resogun that was like the first Plus game that they gave you with the console, and it was sort of like a 3D version of Defender, kind of. I don't know if you remember Resogun. Eventually, they brought it out on the PS3. It ran at half the frame rate and half the resolution, but it did run. So it is possible some of this stuff could end up on the old Switch later, but probably not going to be. Yeah, probably not
Well,
going to be what
Shifty
you're...
Gizm, are you sure that the new kind of memory is $200 for that new SD card? I have to research that. I don't know.
I think it
Oh,
depends on how big a one you get. So.
I was also going to mention, I always noticed that with Donkey Kong, it's kind of a harder sell than Mario. It's like he's known, but he's not the first mascot that you think of with Nintendo for a lot of folks. So I think the entry point for his games have like always sort of been cheaper, like under $40 or $50. Like, granted, there's been a lot of remasters of the country games, but I think that was intentional. Like, but to your point, Max, I do hear what you and Cyrus are saying about a lower res version probably being the reason why they can afford to charge less for it, because they just upscaled this one for Switch 2.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be shocked if they did it closer to launch. Like, oh, this game has a Switch 1 version too. And then that, even though they charged Tears of the Kingdom, Switch 1 was $70 at launch. They could do that for Donkey Kong on the Switch 1 and Switch 2. You could just get which one, and the Switch 2. I don't know. That's my guess. But here's the talking about the Switch 2 game card overview. This is where we're getting this. I think some of these games like Mario Kart World, the game looks so massive. I just doubt that it would fit on this game card.
Where did you get this from? Where did that come from?
This is from Nintendo, official Nintendo stuff from the site. People clipped out parts of the site. There's a few things I have ready here. So let me read this. Game cards are different from regular game card. Now, I do know for a fact that you're definitely going to get this on some of the releases. It's just how many games are going to be like this. I would assume all the new $80 first-party Nintendo games are not going to be on the card. That's what I would assume.
This is not a cartridge. This is the card. This is this is a different thing.
They're calling it a game card. A game key card now instead of cartridge.
No, I don't think so. I think this is something. This is like when you go to buy a game and you buy a little card and you unlock your game. I don't think this is the cartridge.
Okay. I will do more research, Cyrus.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I misunderstand.
There's definitely some questions and some clarification I need to do. I will do. Believe me, I want to figure this out myself too, because that would
I might be misunderstanding.
That would change my viewpoint on whether I want to get the Switch 2 cards. On certain.
So another reason I'm kind of hesitant to believe this for all Switch 2 games is because the second sentence, after it's downloaded, you can play the game by inserting the game key card into your system and starting it up like a standard physical game card. So I think this is a second type of media to play certain games. I would. I don't know. There's not enough in this page for me to. But it's something that I'm making a what is the word?
Which games?
Yeah, I'm just saying it might be the case.
Okay, so what
I'm inferring that that's the case.
Yeah, what I will find out is which games on Switch 2 that are first party Nintendo are actual game cartridges or game key cards. This definitely exists, so you're definitely going to get some of these.
Right. It just seems like the way they're describing it, they're very specifically saying game key card, like it's a specific kind of thing, like not your regular thing.
There's lots
Some-
of people. I'm not getting this from nowhere. There's lots of people on X talking about this.
Right, I think
but
it's
Rational saying they
different
have two
interpretations. Yeah, I'm on the same page as Rational. There, it seems like
Okay.
they are saying that there's two different types of cards because they go out of their way to say standard physical game card.
Well, this
Okay.
is confusing. This is
they already clarified.
The
No,
syntax is like, like it's so open ended.
yeah, I still want to do more. Say Rational, if you have more info on that, please tell me. You do not, Rational. The series comes lying again.
Listen, I wouldn't pass it. I wouldn't put it past Rational that he already owns one, or like they
No.
already own one. Yeah.
All right, so let me read the rest of this and the other info I got. I need to find out if, like Rational saying and what Rhea is suggesting too, that there's cartridges and game key cards. I hope so. I hope the majority of stuff is on cartridge. I hope the majority is not a game key card. But this thing does exist, and the bigger
wonder-
the bigger the games get. I think even if there's at launch, there's both. I think the majority of stuff, especially from third parties, is going to get the key card.
well.
People
I wonder.
that sell for PlayStation, Xbox. This is what they're going to go.
Yeah. I wonder if what they're saying is some developers will put their game on a cartridge and some of them won't. I wonder if they're trying to say like sometimes you'll buy a game and it will be a game key card depending on what the game is. And sometimes you'll buy a game and it will be a card. I don't know. It's just, it's weird the way they're saying it.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
since we know there's two different things, I'm
All right.
just curious how that.
Well, there's
really
definitely
works.
it's definitely important to look at this if they're saying it this at the beginning that this is a thing. So you're gonna want to look at the small print when you buy your games. That's all I'm saying. We at least
My
can say
my
that part.
criticism is that on Switch One games they at least put it at the very top, so that's where you're looking. At the bottom, yeah, it's a little like less. Your eye is probably not checking for that because you see
Yeah.
the giant rating and you're just like, oh, okay, that's just random rating text.
It would
I'm
be
assuming
really-
as a parent, you're just like, oh yeah, Switch 2. Oh, it's rated E for everyone. Great.
So this is actually good content for the viewers too, to find out which specific games are on cartridges or key cards. So I'm definitely going to do that.
I will say this though, even
Yeah,
if it is just a game key card, it's still going to have resale
Still-
value.
Yeah, that has value, but
Yeah.
there are some collectors that want the thing specifically on the cartridge. Now, PlayStation, Xbox have long gone past this.
Yeah.
Nintendo was the holdout. Most of the last gen Switch 1 games were on the cart. There were a few examples that it says download and it had that disclaimer, which they had to. They should. They did. But most games were actually on the cartridge. Without
Like to Cyrus's point though, I think, and Max, to your point too, I think this is a happy medium because I own a few Nintendo Switch 1 games that are essentially, a piece of paper with a code on it, and it's a one-time download.
I would prefer this scenario instead of just a download piece of paper.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm saying that that was something that was a pretty, contentious as well. You're basically buying like an empty empty case just to be able to have something on your shelf. At least this is substantial. So I agree.
I do want for I think somewhat the other way they can add value is if they're $80, bring back a manual, bring back a little
Some
collector
do,
card, and
especially third parties.
I mean from first party Nintendo, like that would be something else. If you're going to do this and it's a download thing, I would hope that they would do that. That would be really exciting. We're bringing back manuals now that we have the game key cards, So, all right. So this is the first thing I have. There's lots of people talking on this. After it's downloaded, you could play the game by inserting the game key card in your system and starting up like a standard physical card game. Here's what the game key card packaging looks like. All right. And then let me bring this up here. And then we'll probably look at the Donkey Kong and then call it a night because I don't want to keep everyone. I know everyone's busy.
We should also mention the From Software stuff. This is a big deal for a lot of people. Like John was talking to me earlier. He's not even interested in Switch, but he sees the
I
From
was
Software.
surprised that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, oh, well, maybe I want to Switch too.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely appealing to people that they haven't really gone after before. Trying to do stuff like that.
All right, they keep saying insert the game key card in the system, download the game. The game itself isn't included on the game key card, so you have to download before you play. When you insert the game key card, further instructions, this is basically just like putting a disc or an Xbox disc too. This is what happens on PS5, and it's just that Switch was the holdout with the majority of the actual stuff on the cartridge. There's still PS5 games, PS4, PS5 games, and Xbox Series X games that retain their value too. And those are still physical. They're just different type of physical. So I definitely am interested to find out if both Donkey Kong and Mario Kart are actually on a cartridge. I will find that out. Here's a look at the Amiibos real quick. These Amiibo, I don't collect Amiibo, but these do look fire. Like the Street Fighter ones really are cool. How much were they before? So these have increased the price?
Jesus Christ. Well, okay. The $20
Jesus
ones.
Christ. That was a great reaction. I'm glad we got that off film.
Yes, the $30 ones, I'm like, sheesh. But yeah, they have gone up. They are $20, $15, $20 now.
See, the only ones I'd really be interested in are the Street Fighter ones, personally, because I like Street Fighter. Oh man,
$30.
See, I would like. Oh wow, this is where I wanted the Toys to Life genre to go, is something like this, where like you have a fighting game and you buy a character like this physically, and I don't know, but those are really cool. Okay, so it's just the licensed ones that are more expensive.
I don't know how that works out, because I would have thought the opposite. And also, I think obviously, Toys to Life is kind of like it was a fad and then it died out. And I think the Nintendo one just kept on, not because it's it adds any value to the games. There are some like a few that will add like new content, but other ones are essentially like saving your progress onto the figure. And my point is that because these figures are so they're going up in price because there's so much detail going into them. So for me, I personally just collect them because they're such well-made figures. So I think a lot of folks too. Yes, and I think that's the point I'm trying to make, is that folks who really do go hard on Amiibos or who do collect them, it's because it's well made. It's collector friendly, display friendly. But yeah, the content itself, or the ability to save your progress, if you're fighting in Smash or Hyrule Warriors or Street Fighter 6, to save it on your figure, that is a value proposition. I don't know if it's the reason though that they're still making these and why it's still popular.
But that did sticker shock you though. You're like, holy.
Oh, $30. I'm like, yes, I used to pay that for 2 Amiibos. But I mean,
were you a Shifty Gives them here? You collected from the start. They were $12.99.
Yes, dude. Yes, but then again, that was during the Wii U days, because remember, Super Smash Bros. Came out on the Wii U, and we've been playing that game for over 10 years.
Oh, can you tell me what's the most you've paid for an Amiibo?
Ooh,
to track one down, track down a rare Amiibo.
It was a Monster Hunter Beast. It was $50. Yeah.
Was that the retail price?
Aftermarket. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think at GameStop it was probably close to 30. Yeah, because it was one of the larger ones.
That's cool. That's cool. I liked Amiibo. I just wanted them to do more. I like that you save certain things, they unlock things, but I liked what the Skylanders and Disney Infinity did, where you do different things on the character and it would save all that stuff. Okay, so here's this was a fail for me, this welcome.
Oh,
that was hilarious.
You have to pay for it.
I was shocked when they said you had to buy it. I was like, what?
No, there's no way they should make you pay for this.
The
welcome tour. I mean, it looked kind of quirky, but
that was the moment when I was like, Nintendo.
Yeah, I totally thought that would be free on the manual. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's a nice free feature.
Yeah.
This to me is kind of a whiff. Like this game, I like that there's people in wheelchairs in sports, but the actual gameplay was just really didn't seem not
It's
that well.
almost like a tech demo. They're trying to show, you know, yeah.
Maybe it is a really budget price. I don't know. Like, I like the idea of it, but the actual execution, the gameplay just looked really cheap to me.
I have a feeling it
Dragon
will be
Prime.
budget price pretty quick. I don't mean that, you know. Just saying.
Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment. Dusk Bloods.
Okay, yeah, that's the one that a lot of people are talking
I was
about.
shocked by Kirby Air Riders. Give me F-Zero. What the heck? I love Kirby, but come on, Air Riders when we're getting Mario Kart?
Hey, they put an S on the end. What do you want?
I mean, did you ever play Kirby's Air Ride, Cyrus? Or
No, I never played the
it's
first one.
okay, it's fun. It's just like it pales in comparison to Mario Kart, and it's something similar. Or F-Zero. It's like a combination of F-Zero and Mario Kart, but like light. Like I think if I remember, you only press one button. You just it's
Oh,
so
wow.
simple. Yes.
Okay.
All right. This is just all the time. Donkey Kong Bonanza.
That to me, honestly, was my game for the show. Like I
Over
really
Mario
think.
Kart.
Well, Mario Kart, yeah, but I mean, as far as unexpected, I didn't know this was coming, and it looks really good. And it's coming out very soon. It's coming out this summer. I was very surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I wasn't
I might
expecting the character redesign too. They made it look more like the early '80s illustration,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
On the arcade.
And my daughter's a huge fan of the N64 one, and this is like the evolution of the N64 one. So I guess that maybe is making me more excited about
I
it too.
am liking
So,
this that they went with this more than a new Mario too, because that will also make that's going to help Switch 2 in its second year if they have like a new Mario, or the third year. You know,
yeah.
I Donkey Kong, and they are going to be making a movie with Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Besides Legend of Zelda, which officially got announced, I think that besides Mario 2, they're doing a Donkey Kong movie. Okay, so I like it. I think I will get this game too. While we go through these, say if you're going to buy or sell, would you buy this game, Rhea? I think I'm going to get this one.
Yeah, I'll buy it.
Oh, you would too? Okay, Cyrus, if you had a Switch 2, would you get this? Is the one you would get this a Mario Kart?
Oh,
GameCube.
this is making me want to buy my daughter a Switch 2 and get her that game. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm definitely buying.
I
that
also
game.
really want to find out about the borrowing thing, how that works if you have to be on the same family plan, because that's
Yeah.
expensive. Besides the increased price of Nintendo Online with GameCube expansion pack, which I'm assuming it's going to be, if you have to be a family online plan just to let people borrow games, yeah, that's nice, but that's expensive to do a family online plan. I like to have one online per household, you know?
Yeah. I don't know.
Survival Kids, I didn't see anything on that one.
I don't even remember seeing that.
Mario Party Jamboree TV, besides the online, the new things did not, it looked like basic Connect stuff with people on camera with their that
Yeah.
extra. I mean, I like the Connect stuff, but I enjoy playing this on my Switch 1. I don't think I'll upgrade this for a fee unless it's free with online. Legend of Zelda, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Cross Worlds. Are any interest there from either one of you?
Kirby, I don't
That
remember
Kirby
even
game is
seeing that.
it's a Switch 1 game. There's just an extra. It's sort of like when they did Super Mario World on the Switch plus Bowser's Fury. They did like an extra little world for Kirby and re-released it and charged $80.
This might not be an immediate buy for me, but
Yeah.
because I know I can probably find it down the road, and it's one of those games that will basically hold its value. It might go on sale for $10 or $20 less, but yeah, even the Nintendo Switch 1 games of these titles, they maintain their value even in
Oh, I
retail.
forgot about and I forgot about Metro Prime 4. That's a big thing. Metro
Yeah.
Prime 4.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna hold off on that one. I want to go play. I want to go play the old ones again.
I have a question about that Metroid Prime 4. My understanding is they're only releasing a Switch version and a Switch 2 version, not an upgrade to the Switch version. Is that right?
They're doing a Switch version and a Switch 2 version. I think when you put the Switch 1 card, if you buy the Metroid Prime 4 and say you don't have the Switch 2 right away, and then you put the Switch 1 card in the Switch 2, it'll let you upgrade for a fee. Is what I'm thinking.
They hadn't.
They,
I didn't.
they maybe didn't elaborate that. Need some clarification. That's for sure, because there's a lot of people that might not be able to get the Switch 2 right away and want Metroid Prime 4. You know.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
what I
wondering
would
what's going
assume.
on.
That's what they should do for that specific game. You shouldn't have to buy the game all over again, $80 just to get the upgrade. And if they have this program for other games that are on the Switch 1, why not for one that just came out? You know. So
But
that's
they didn't say, so it makes me wonder. You know.
Yeah. Tamagotchi. What about the Pokemon? Are you excited? ZA, is that the new one?
Yeah, it's Pokemon Legends. So Pokemon Legends Arceus. I would argue that's right now currently that's the best Pokemon game ever made.
Is it out already?
World Pokemon. So Pokemon Legends Arceus is out for Switch 1. Pokemon Legends Z through A, that's coming out at some time this year.
Okay, and you're going to get the Switch 2 version.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so Rhea's gonna have
before you scroll back or scroll down, there's another game that comes out at launch that I'm definitely getting, Rune Factory. So that's
Rune Factory.
Yeah.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
It's gosh, what is the not Story of Seasons. What's the other one called?
I've heard of it before.
Oh God, I'm drawing a blank. What is that original farm sim called?
I have no idea you're talking about farm sims.
Harvest Moon?
Harvest Moon.
Oh,
Thank you so much. Rune Factory is a spin-off of Harvest Moon with action RPG elements.
Interesting.
You know what
so
RJ told me? When RJ told me the last time, what about Tamagotchi Plaza? I'm like, listen, I'm glad it exists. I could care less. Tamagotchi, I'm happy for people that want it. No way.
I feel bad for the Hello Kitty Island Adventure game. I'm like, if they had just waited, a month or two longer, then they could have had a Switch 2 version.
Yeah, does it need it though?
No, it doesn't. I'm just kind of thinking there are some rabid Sanrio fans out there. Including
I think I saw another Animal Crossing that wasn't announced yet in a sizzle reel, like a real quick scene of a new Animal Crossing in there too. All right. Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, F-Zero GX. The other game that I think they need to get on GameCube online is what's that horror game that everyone likes? I saw it for almost 80 or $100, and I was thinking about getting because I never played it. Eternal Darkness.
Oh yeah, Eternal Darkness.
And I hope they get on that because that's been coming up in price too. All right. Yeah, so I hope that. This is we have some breaking news here. This is a picture of Rhea's wallet after these announcements. Oh no, that's Donkey Kong. No, Rhea, no, Rhea. That is Rhea's wallet after the Switch 2 announcement.
My direct deposit as soon as it hits my account.
Switch 2 edition, heck yeah. Okay.
There's enough coming out at launch that I think I'll be set.
I think that
maybe one or two games.
This is the majority of people today when they're like, "Oh God, the price! Oh no,
well,
I want it."
Bear in mind, you have all your original Switch stuff also that's going to be on it, so you're going to be experimenting, seeing how it runs.
Well, here's the thing: if I go to the cottage or something, I'm probably going to just do handheld on the Switch 1. I mean, if you were going out and about, Rhea, are you going to take the Switch 2 out for your gaming on the go or Switch 1 still? Or both?
Usually I take my OLED right now because
Yeah.
I have my my Switch that I modded that kind of requires like some specific PC boot up ish thing that is specific to at home.
Oh,
So
I didn't know you were into all that. Wow, how about that?
Yeah, I'm like into modding, you know.
Okay.
So the OLED currently is the one I travel with, just because I use one Switch for the modded features, and then I use my OLED for playing cartridges.
Mhm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that I'm majority of my gaming on the go. If I'm doing Nintendo, is still going to be in the Switch One. I'm still keeping it. Although, Rhea, I might have you hook me up on my Switch One if you still know how to mod it. my first one.
It's a software. It's a soft mod. Yeah, I can totally walk you through it.
This just in a text from Brucifer, delusional Nintendo fans. Listen. Nintendo has never let me down with retaining value. Like I've never lost a lot. Like anything, most of my collection has just gone up in value. Especially when I got the stuff. Like I got Super NES when people had the N64 and GameCube, and I got it on the cheap. That stuff that I sold you, Cyrus, and my friend in Australia. All that stuff I got like $10, $15, like some really rare games, like 5, 10. I got a Super Mario World complete in box that I sold for $100. I got it for $5.
Wow.
And it was rare. The reason it's expensive.
Are you bragging?
I actually sold it. I still had the receipt in there when I sold it to the exchange. Rhea and Cyrus, you both been in the exchange with me. And the guy was like laughing his ass off. He's like, you have the receipt where you bought it from us for $5, and I have to give you like $90 to $100 for this right now. And I was like, yes, I do. I keep my receipts in there. And the reason it's expensive is because Super Mario World was bundled with All-Stars, and it was a packing game. So it was very rare to actually get a physical Super Mario World cartridge in a box.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, yes, I don't feel bad wasting money on Nintendo. I'm only going to buy the games that are going to have a lot of replay value and retain their value. If I want to get rid of them. So
I mean, I hear what you're saying. Like, it's not like a serious statement, but yeah, I would never consider spending money on video games a waste because it's what I like to.
Unless it's really bad, and then then maybe.
No,
true.
As a collector, especially buying used as a collector, I've pretty much made out like a bandit my whole career of collecting physical media, movies, CDs, music. I've done really good. I've collected at the right times. I've done pretty well. Cyrus, you've done pretty well over the years too.
I've done really bad too, though.
You have made some
Yeah, it balances out.
It's but then it's also like if you get a bad game or a game that didn't sell well on the cheap, a lot of people potentially may not have bought that game, and you're kind of just holding on to it. And similar to Max, you're just sort of like watching the market, and then you're like, oh damn, this game I got for $5, or that was like massively produced, or that and no one bought, or no one kept. Now it's like highly sought after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't sell. That's the other reason. Don't sell your Switch One games right now. See what the market decides after a year or two. Especially. Yeah,
you were talking earlier. You said you might be able to pick up some of these Switch games for cheap later. I'm like, I don't know about that, Max. Like,
no. I think this announcement is going to raise the recent. I think the retro boom was starting to go down a little bit more. The prices are starting to come down. They're about to shoot right back up. Yeah. With import fees, with all the with all the new release titles. Oof. If stuff is already in the market and it's there, you got a good chance to get a good deal before the prices go up. Go look right now. Go look for the titles you really want right now. I'm telling you, because if depending on how long this goes, hopefully things get back to normal and this stuff stops. But you don't know, and the physical media in the used market is going to explode again because people are going to go back to other stuff. Look for the titles that you really want now before the prices increase. I'm telling you, I definitely see it. You're going to see. I definitely feel like you're going to get you some used Switch One era games, depending on the title, that where you can get them for like 30, 40. Now they're going to be 50, 60, 70. Don't be shocked. I'm telling you. Okay, so here's Donkey Kong Bonanza. Really happy about this.
Yeah, this looks really good.
And then we'll wrap it up after this, get our final thoughts, and
when it was starting right here, I was like, "What is this?" It took me a minute before
So
I realized.
I am gonna get this. I'm gonna get Mario Kart Digital because it's only $50. That's a value for me, and I can eventually find a Mario Kart. Mario Kart sells like crazy, and then I will probably get the Switch 2 edition of this. If there is a Switch 1 edition, I'll probably still get the Switch 2 edition because it's going to be relatively the same price. I mean,
Oh, I can't wait for the new characters to pop up on screen. Some of them have already gone viral.
The only other thing is I hope there's more Donkey Kong characters in here too. Not just Donkey Kong. Like,
Yeah,
I
I'm
love
not sure.
Diddy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if like the ones I'm talking about are NPCs. I'm assuming they are.
This is just too cool. I think this is awesome.
I hope there's some cool multiplayer modes too, maybe. So I'm so happy that this was. I wanted a Mario game, but I'm really refreshed that this is something new. The only thing that would make me that's throwback to Donkey Kong Country. Do you like his new design?
I think it looks good. Nintendo's always gonna tweak things up. If
they did a Diddy Kong remaster, I would pay $300. I want that back. Diddy Kong Racing's back so bad. Hey, Kelly.
Yeah, the female character, that's the one people are like, oh, new cosplay. But yeah, I'm digging this game. It looks a lot like it's the sound design for me, and then it's just like this. Yes, the satisfying like proom proom, like just
this
more
isn't
like
launch. This is launch
more
window.
visceral. Like and then the haptic feedback is going to be super awesome on this too.
Yeah.
I bet.
But yeah, totally.
Well, thank you for joining me, Rhea, Cyrus, and RJ. Wimped out and had to go to sleep because he has to work. No, just kidding. Thanks, RJ. We loved having you. Thanks. This is a special occasion. I know we were looking forward to this a lot. Did any final thoughts? I really feel like we're gonna have a lot of fun. I'm gonna get the camera too, Rhea, so we could try that out. Hopefully, we could find another person that has that too, so we could play some games online and share it with the community. I think it's a great community building thing. That's the other reason I could justify it. I have to do a full review so I could justify it on taxes and stuff. Although you can't, they changed tax laws, so it's not as good as it used to be as a YouTuber claiming stuff on taxes. My mother does my taxes. She said, Max, it's not like it used to be. Don't buy as much this year. All right. Thanks, Freya, for joining me, Cyrus and RJ. And yeah, anything else you want to talk about, Cyrus, Rhea? Definitely. Before we end, our pal Rhea has put a lot of effort into Multiverse of Keller X handle of doing some shorts.
Yes.
So go support her shorts. They're doing really well. It's a great Twitter handle. They have like 35K. Let me see if I could find one. Go check it out and just give a retweet for that. Would really help out because I think she'll be doing more of these. Here. Let me bring this one up here.
Oh, can I give y'all a sneak peek of one that hasn't been released yet? I think that'll be even better because I keep improving on my editing skills, at least in my opinion. So the more I'm like able to get these out, the better they do come out. So I can link you in the private chat.
All right.
But I love getting feedback. Like I send these to friends, including Max, all the time to get their
and it's something you become passionate about doing these things for and it seems like really nice people on that Twitter handle.
It's like a different feeling. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm not on X, so don't take it personal if I don't
No, it's all good. But yeah, that's the platform at all these YouTubers or a lot of YouTubers hang out, so that's kind of why I'm there.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm enjoying it because when I would make shorts and content for myself, it would be just like a hobby. I didn't really know the intrinsic value of it, but yeah, doing it for like a news outlet, I'm like, oh, I gotta like show up, and I feel like the intention and purpose more. So it's really fun.
All right, let me play this here.
Oh, unmute it.
Where's it muted? Oh,
dropping bombshells.
oh, sorry.
CinemaCon Day 2 came in hot with Lionsgate and Warner Bros. Dropping bombshells.
Warner-
Lionsgate opened strong with
Oh.
Ballerina, the John Wick spin-off starring Ana de Armas. She trained like a machine, and the footage was cold, brutal, and pure Wick energy. They also announced John Wick 5, a Donnie Yen spin-off, and even an anime prequel. Then Maggie Gyllenhaal brought The Bride, a reimagined Frankenstein story starring Jessie Buckley. This time, The Bride has a voice, power, and presence. Brad Pitt's F1, instant adrenaline.
That's the one I
Directed
wanna
by
see.
Top Gun Maverick's Joseph Kosinski, the first 10 minutes throw us into a night race at Daytona. It's sleek, stylish, and ready to roar. Next up in the showcase comes James Gunn's Superman. We saw Clark crash into snow, Crypto drag him to the Fortress of Solitude, and robot medics beam sunlight to heal him. Plus,
Oh, I didn't know about that
Hawk
part.
Girl, Guy Gardner, and more. Oh, and Final Destination. Bloodlines, pure nightmare fuel. A vending machine, an MRI, a flying metal shard, and
Oh,
two
no.
brothers trying
Really?
to cheat death. Drop a comment and let us know your favorite reveal from day 2.
All right, so go
Wow.
support Rhea and her new venture. I think they're gonna be coming back to you for more help. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I dig it. And yeah, I'm working those creative muscles again that have been dormant for like 3 years. So yeah, I appreciate.
I thought
the
we did
feedback and
that too
support.
when we collab. No,
It's
I know,
me.
just-
Yes,
I know,
yes,
I'm
I flex those muscles too. Like today, I got excited about this topic and I was chopping it up with y'all. It felt really natural. So I appreciate it.
All right, good night, everyone. Have a good one. Switch 2 exists. Bye.
Woo! Bye.
All right.